What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday. It's time for Cowboys Cutting Up. I'm your host here, J-Stogs, the Buff Nerd. Let's go. What's up, everybody? It's J-Stogs. Kind of like the Cowboys, got to turn the mic on, so make sure that people can hear you. But yeah, so it's Tuesday, the day after Wild Card Weekend, and I'm trying to have good energy here, spread the love. I mean, all those things. But the reality is, nah. Um, for the world to see Cowboys, let's just get into it. Well, let me do the housekeeping first. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this podcast, BGSE Network, Big Game Sports and Entertainment Network, where sports and entertainment collide, where the fan and the pro athlete get together and they have their cast and they're able to talk and you're able to talk with them. Um, epic fail. Epic fail. 48-32, home turf, youngest team in the NFL, and the Cowboys can't get it together. They cannot win. And the guy, I can't remember his name, and I really don't want to give him, any. Uh, yeah, I don't want to give him any, praise or even, just a look, but just the fact that, yeah, it stings a little bit. 28 years without so much as a conference championship game. It's tough. It's tough. Here's the thing. I remember when the Cowboys won their three Super Bowls, right, in the 90s. They were the team of the 90s. I was there, I watched them, thought this would never end. Or at least it wouldn't be this long. It's been a generation. There are people who are Cowboys fans who have never seen them win. They've never seen them win. With the NFC East, you go through and you have everything set up for you. And I hate, when people say, "What's set up for you?" It's set up for you. It's set up for you. The Eagles have a major collapse towards the end of the season in order for you to get second seed, NFC East champions, and home field advantage. Like that's what you wanted. You said that's what you wanted. That's what you got. You got the seventh seed, Green Bay Packers. No Aaron Rodgers, right? The former coach that beat you in the playoffs is now on your sidelines. The last time they came there, he's on your sidelines now, Mike McCarthy. You have most, if not all, of your starters that have been playing for the majority of the season healthy. Excuse me, or as healthy as it could be, because that's kind of how the game went, right? Kind of went to a yawner. Um, and at the end of it all, what you do is you drop a major stinking egg. Okay, I mean, the fact that it was 27-0, right? Um, and all you can muster up was 3 points in the first. It just it was the worst look you could have for a two seed making history by being the only team to lose to a seventh seed in the playoffs in NFL history. Uh, before the game started, and I stated this last week, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. People would say, "Why are you nervous?" I heard you say you were nervous. Let me tell you why I was nervous. When the Cowboys get overconfident, it makes me nervous. When you have this, like it's a trap game, like everyone is looking towards San Francisco. They're discounting Green Bay, the discounting Detroit, the discounting the Rams. Like, well, the Rams are kind of scary. Listen, here's the reality of it all. Green Bay came in fired up, ready to play. And asked Mike McCarthy, do you feel the guys came out flat? Do you feel the team was flat? No, we were ready to play the game. We came out, we knew what we had to do, we had to execute. There was plenty of energy. Plenty of energy. I don't know what he saw. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. They came out fired, and when I say they, I mean Green Bay came out fired up. Now look, they're professionals. I would never say that they were not motivated to play a game. But what I will say is this: the energy and motivation was definitely more on the side of Green Bay. Okay. Now, again, I'm not going to say that the Dallas Cowboys didn't have motivation, that they weren't ready, or at least they weren't up for the game. But Green Bay had more. They made bigger plays. They made plays. Listen, I watched some of the Manning cast. Actually, I watched. There was one clip that they had of Tampa Bay and Philly, and Ray Lewis. Excuse me, Ray Lewis, considered one of the best linebackers to ever play the game, and I'll put that up against anyone. He is definitely one of the best to play the game. He said he doesn't even watch. He goes on a boat. He doesn't like to watch defenses anymore because they take bad angles and they don't play team defense. That's what I saw there. I said one of the issues that I had with the defense, the DC in particular, the defensive coordinator, was that he does not make adjustments. He doesn't make adjustments. He's been known to do that. Case in point, the Super Bowl for the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. They're up 23 to 3, I believe the game was, right? 23 to 6 or something like that. They were up big. Didn't make adjustments. The Patriots did. When the Patriots made adjustments, guess what happened? They won the game. They started coming back, and nothing was happening on the other side of the ball. I'm not talking about the offense. The offense stunk in the second half, but the defense did nothing. People were wide open. Like there was no one around them. No one around them at all. Um, we knew they were going to run. They said they were going to run. They've been running. So now all of a sudden we're just going to say, "Oh, well, we'll do the same thing we've been doing, but it'll be different." No, Aaron Jones had 21 carries for 118 yards. 21 carries for 118 yards. He averaged 5.6 yards a carry. You knew he was going to do that. And guess what? He did it. Chunk plays too. Chunk plays. 3 touchdowns. Listen, at some point, you've got to do something different. Something's got to change. I love Dan Quinn and what he did for our defense. Definitely changed our defense. But he cannot adjust in the game. Well, at least it's showing that he can, or the team cannot. I, I don't know. Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 16 for 21, 272 yards. Listen, here's another thing I have continued to say. When Dak Prescott throws for more than 38 attempts a game, you're going to lose. Now you may say, but Jay, they were up. The Packers were up big and they had to answer. They were up 3 scores, 4 scores. Yes. And by the second quarter, when they started to run the ball, they made plays. But then if you just run 3 times in a row and then you come out on the next series and run 3 times in a row, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to stop it. They're going to stop the run. So now it forces you to pass because now you're three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out. Tony Pollard. I've said this before. Continue to say this. 15 carries, 56 yards, 3.7 yards a carry. That's his stat line. That is his stat line. 15 carries, 56 yards, 3.7 yards a carry, one touchdown. Listen, it wasn't close. The score was not close. It is not indicative of what was actually happening. 48 to 32 is not what's indicative of it. It's not. You got to change your DC. He wants to go somewhere else, fine. Let him go. Get a DC in here that's willing to make the change, willing to adjust, and has the capability and ability and aptitude to change. How hard is that? Just, anyway, apparently it's very hard. He can't do it, but yeah. So he can go be somewhere else, Tennessee, Seattle. Heard those rumors. Fine, kind of like that Kellen Moore deal, right? Mike McCarthy at some point. I mean, statistically, Dak has had his best regular season of the year of his career. 8 years, 8 seasons, his best career, best season of his career. But what does that mean in the playoffs? I mean, realistically, what does that mean in the playoffs? Because this is where your name gets made is in the playoffs. You can be that Dan Marino guy if you want to, right? The greatest to never win one, or a great quarterback just never could get over the hump. I mean that's the reality of it. In this game, like I said, 38 pass attempts, we're good. Anything over that, he loses. He threw the ball 60 times in this game. It was 41 to 60, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns. But oh, wait a minute, 2 interceptions, one pick six. That's why for me, look, season's over. I'm already in Mav, what I'm saying, Mav mode. I'm in NBA mode. I'm in for the league. We'll still talk about Cowboys, but I'm done because it's like dating. It's like dating Halle Berry, right? She's gorgeous, she's beautiful, she's talented, but something isn't right. Something that just makes you say, I don't know. And they turn on you, right? And not particularly, Halle Berry, Halle Berry's kind of crazy, but still, it's just you root for them because on paper they're the best. On paper they're so great. On paper they are one of the top teams in the league. They're a top five team. I can honestly say, on paper, they are a top five, dare I say, a top three team in the league. But they don't play that way when it comes to the playoffs. They just don't. And the numbers bear it out. CD Lamb, nine catches, 110 yards. Look, great numbers, right? Gallup, 6 receptions, 103 yards. He's passing the ball around, sure. Jake Ferguson, everyone's favorite tight end, right? 10 receptions, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. The kid is phenomenal. Ferguson is phenomenal and likes to talk trash and talks noise. Great, awesome. But after that, it gets tough to say, hey, this is an offense that can move the ball when it wants to. It has to impose its will. It has to impose its will. Um, I just, you're looking at this and you're saying, well, okay, you win the battle of total yards, you win the battle of passing yards, 20 yards from rushing. I mean, literally, it's 143 to 123. So they got 20 more yards rushing. 20 more yards rushing. That's what Green Bay had. 20 more yards rushing. We had more first down. The Cowboys had more first downs. Uh, the third down efficiency, they got us on that. They were 6 of 10. We were 10 for 16. Uh, they went for a once on fourth down, but really they didn't even have to, right? because they were efficient enough at first and second down and third down. It's Wallace, what's good, man? It's a turn it down Tuesday, brother. I don't know what to tell you, other than this is the look. This is the look around town. People have not gone out of their homes because it's cold. And everyone, once it gets cold down here, we don't really do anything. We shut everything down. 17 degrees and whatnot, 13 degrees. Hey, we're not doing that. Uh, we don't do that. When it feels like -2, nah, nah, nah. We keep that cold stuff up there in the north, in the Midwest. Y'all like to like go outside with no shirt on and slide down snow. I'm not built for that. I'm not. I'm of a tropical people. I'm not built for that, man. I'm just tell you that right now. Um, but I mean, this is just indicative of what what as a Cowboys fan we go through. Uh, thought y'all would struggle stopping. Yeah, they run a game. Hey, that was the whole thing. Wallace was, the whole point of playing hard. Like it was set up. Like I said before, set up. Philly collapsed at the end. You get the second seed, win the NFC East. You have home field advantage until basically NFC Championship against San Francisco. And I mean, they're the youngest team in the league. No one on that squad has playoff experience like we had playoff experience, like all this other stuff we talk about. But at the end of the day, they said, we don't care. This kid is throwing off his back foot to wide open receivers down the field. Jones is just running up and down the field like, hey, it was most of the people I talk to, because what we do is we'll text, we'll call during halftime. Most of us said, you know what, we're gonna go watch something else. Well, usually TNT has some Star Wars or something on. TBS has something on. Um, yeah, it's just, hey, go watch the award shows, go do something else, but don't watch this. It was, and it just didn't stop. It was like they score, and then we punt and they score again. They punt and they score again. It just didn't, And here's the other piece: we predicate our defense on pressures, right? Getting to the quarterback. We didn't do that. 0 sacks. They had 4. Uh, yeah, I know. Yeah, we made history. Not the good kind. You know what I'm saying? Team first seed, yeah, 7th seed, yeah, youngest team, all of that. And again, maybe it was just too confident, overconfident. I don't think that's what it was. Honestly, I just think it was the fact that they came in ready to play. It was already um, a blueprint that was put out there by San Francisco, Arizona, hell, Detroit. I mean, if you can run against the Cowboys, you'll win. Just run against them. That slows down our offense. That keeps our offense on the field, but they were lighting it up. So now, as we're pulling up to stop the run, they're just throwing it right over the heads of Lewis and Gilmore. Like it just and Bell. Like, where was Bell? Here's what's crazy. Here's a crazy number. And I heard Rex Ryan say this, right? 48 of the plays, 48 of the offensive snaps, and I believe they said 56. 48 of the offensive plays or defensive plays, however you look at it, 48 of the defensive plays for the Cowboys, they had 6+ DBs on the field. You basically playing like a dime, and these people run the ball. Uh, Going forward, like I said, Wallace, it's to me it's simple, man. You get rid of the DC. You let him go ahead, interview, do what he's got to do. Dan Quinn cannot adjust. He has a propensity, he has a history of not adjusting. Again, I said it, Atlanta Falcons, Super Bowl, dudes up on the Patriots, just decides not to adjust. Say, hey, they may change. Oh, look, they're changing up. No, 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 no. We don't need to change. We're just going to keep it the same way. Second thing you have to do, and I don't know if changing out McCarthy is the right thing to do, but you're going to have to do something with Dak. So it's either get a QB coach in here that's going to help him throw somebody open because he cannot do that. Excuse me. Or you go ahead and you trade as much as you possibly can to get as high as you can to get yourself a quarterback and a coach that can make the change for you on the offense. Now, again, I know what I just said. I know the numbers. Dak had the best season of his career this past season. Get all that. Belichick interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, will he go there? I don't know. Here's the thing I have about that interview and with that coach. How much control does he want? I think it's all based on control. If he's the GM, if he says, hey, I want to be the GM, that's not gonna happen here. Uh that leaves you with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll in Dallas, well, he's an executive out there. I think he still has years on his contract. I don't know. Um, then you have Jim Harbaugh, right? Is possibly, but I don't think this is the job that he wants. He's a control freak as well. And for him to say, "Hey, I'll come here, but I've got to be in control," I don't see that happening. Um, so we talked about Belichick. We talked about Carroll. We talked about Harbaugh. Um, the name that has come up here recently is Mike Tomlin. Look, I like Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is one of those guys where one of those coaches where you're like, this is crazy. Mike Tomlin, 17 seasons, none of them losing. Goes to the playoffs with no name guys. You can't name people off his team. You really can't. You can't say, oh yeah, he was from the draft or whatever, whatever. No, he doesn't have those kind of players. Right? But he's able to make something out of nothing. So for him to come here, that means he would have to have some semblance of control and run his system and program how he wants to. I don't know if Jerry's going to allow that. He's going to have to though. Yeah, we had Quinn. This is what he does: being stubborn, not make changes to the defense to offset what the offense is doing. Exactly, exactly. Um, he does not make changes, man. He does not adjust. Tom is going to coach Steelers next season. Yeah, I mean, he still has one more year on his contract. So they would have to trade him, which is odd to hear, but they would have to trade him to the Cowboys, get compensation from the Cowboys in order for us to have him. The Steelers aren't going to do that, and they're not known to do that. I mean, think about it. In their franchise, they've had three coaches. Three. Three head coaches. They're not doing that. Right? So um, this is speculation. Uh, the best we can really look at is Belichick, Harbaugh, or an up and coming coach or an OC from somewhere. I don't know where they could get them from because, quite honestly, the OCs that I've seen in this league are head coaches that are worth anything, and they're not going anywhere. Uh, what up, my man? What's good? Good to see you, big game. Listen, the Cowboy struggle is real. I told you, being a fan of the Cowboys is like dating that really pretty girl who's super duper crazy, but you just keep running back to her because she's Halle Berry. Disrespect to Halle Berry, but I mean, it's Halle Berry, right? You know that they're better. And it's frustrating because, again, on paper they are, but they do these things. This is what they do. And you have clickbait people out there, and I'm not going to mention their names, and they know who they are on these networks, that all they want to do is talk about the Cowboys. And that's it's what it is. Yep, that good. Yeah, that good kitty, man. That ooh wee. Uh, not having that thumper raw beef. Yeah, the running back to run up the middle because Pollard wasn't. He's never been a change of pace run. You know who our change of pace running back was? Pollard. You know who our thumper was? Ezekiel Elliott, who, look, for all intents and purposes, when he was in New England, did not do a bad job. He didn't. We need a thumper. Rico Dowdle is not it. Pollard, the running backs coach said he cannot run more than 20 to 22 carries a game, and he has not. That's not what he does. It's not his style. He doesn't run inside the tackles. So if you try to run a cat inside the tackles who doesn't run inside the tackles, who's coming off a major leg surgery, then yes, you're going to get what you're going to get. 15 carries. Boss is right. The lack of big running back killed the running game. I'm with you. You don't have a good running game, right? Listen, I understand that the pass is setting up the run now. And that's the West Coast offense. The pass sets up the run. But if you're not fooling anyone that you're going to run, i.e., play action or option pass, what are we doing here? Like it's frustrating because I know I'm not the only one, and I don't feel like I'm the smartest guy out there, but I know I'm pretty smart. But if I see that, like if I see, hey, you need to start adjusting for the run. You shouldn't have 6 DBs plus in the game in a situation where it's 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 4. Guess what? They're probably going to run. They're probably going to run. What happened to the defense is, hey, there is an all points bulletin out for them right now. And then I don't know. I tell you what I know. What I saw was a defense that everyone was trying to play hero ball. They were trying to outsmart the quarterback. Each player was trying to outsmart the quarterback. And in the end, they're the ones that look dumb. They're the ones that got schooled, trying to outsmart a young quarterback. But guess what? He was taught well. He played within the system. And he played with it himself. And that's what makes Brock Purdy Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's not a great quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. But he understands himself. And he understands what he can do and what he can't do. I keep saying this over and over. I'm glad that Dak took credit or whatever you want to call it for his play. He did suck. He was not his best. He wasn't even good. Okay. Um, but Dan Quinn needs to come out and say, yeah, I messed up. I've got to get better. Because again, this has been his MO since Atlanta. His MO since Atlanta. And if he's not able to change, he's going to have to go. Dan Quinn's going to have to go. I believe McCarthy is going to have to go. We're going to have to find. Look, we're going to have to rebuild. At least the offense. You're going to have to rebuild the offense. Now, there's not a quarterback out there that I can look at and say, that's the one. But you don't want to draft a quarterback. You don't have the capital to get there. You won't have the pick high enough to get a quote unquote quality quarterback, even though we got ours in the 4th round. And I have to question those who scout are offensive players then. Because if you're if you're getting Pollard to replace Elliott, and they're two totally different types of backs, and you don't get anyone to replace them, but yet you run an offense that utilizes his style of play. And when I say his style, I mean Ezekiel Elliott's style of play. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? I joke that the Cowboys will win once, you know, it's time to pay the devil. Jerry Jones, it's time for him to pay the devil, right? So Rabbit's going to hold it up high. We did it. Boom, devil takes the soul, says your mind, goes away. He's 81 years old. Um, and he's ready to win. I mean, he's been ready to win. The fans are ready to win. But I think what's going to happen, it's going to happen. Yeah, oh wow, I've said it, but it's true. It's true. I think what's going to have to happen is this. Because the statements that he made after the game were very disturbing to me. Maybe not to others, but to me. They asked him about the future, of McCarthy and others. And his statement was, I really wasn't thinking about that. I haven't been thinking about that. I've only been thinking about hosting next week. That's all I've been thinking about this week. Hosting next week. Hosting the game next week. And then the week after that. Making plans for California. He actually said making plans for Santa Clara. Like, bro, you have to win this one first, then the next one, then you go to Santa Clara, pending that they win theirs, which, all intents and purposes, they should because the NFC East, have proven that they can't win anything. Now, I'm not going to comment on the Eagles, even though they're now disastrously a trash can dumpster fire on the 4th of July. Eh, I mean, that's the only joy I got out of this weekend was the fact that the the Buccaneers beat the Eagles. Ugh. So I got to hear a big game about that. But you know what? They did what they had to do, right? And they put it on them, and they played a great game. And Baker Mayfield is showing that he's more than a serviceable quarterback. Um, I mean, great escapability. Defense played great. Hey, they stopped the tush push on the goal line. Yes, there was some holding on that face mask, which I guess you don't call it, it doesn't happen, right? Yeah, go Bucks. I'm not putting that up there, but go Bucks. Hey, they beat the Eagles. Uh, yeah, I mean, while that's the most frustrating part about this is that, and he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Radio stations here, sports radio talk, they were already celebrating. Everyone was getting their, self ready for next week. Um, I'm telling you, I was nervous. I was nervous. I was nervous because Green Bay's history in this building. Green Bay wins here. Here's what's crazy. And I know this is a stat that people love, but Green Bay has more wins in the playoffs at AT&T than the Cowboys. Like, really? That's horrible. That's horrible. Actually, no, in the playoffs, they have more wins than Dak has in the playoffs in the same stint of time. It's crazy. So, and I hope game you do have class, and you got class, man. But I know what's going to happen Thursday at 8:30. Um, yeah, they were talking about it too, man. Eagles wasn't going to beat the Bucks without AJ Brown. The way, look, they're firing if they haven't already, and I haven't seen anything come out. of Philly out of their place, but they've got to get rid of that defensive coordinator. He is. And then you make a change mid-season. They looked horrible, man. Couldn't tackle. Excuse me. They couldn't catch a cold, brother. I'm telling you, it was sad. It was sad. But how do we get better? What do we do when we go forward? It's one of those things, man. I don't even know. Outside of obviously Dan Quinn, McCarthy, and um, Dak. Sirianni has no control. No, he doesn't. And it was being proven this whole season. The OCs and the DCs, and I think the DC in particular. Listen, big shout out. And, I'm not a Houston fan, but big shout out to D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud. I'm happy for him. I really am happy for him, because that young man right there has definitely coached his butt off and definitely deserves all the accolades. He should be coach of the year, in my opinion, um, because he definitely did that. He definitely did. But here in Dallas, it's frustrating because if you get rid of McCarthy for a new coach and a new OC, probably a new DC, um, what does that mean for Dak moving forward? You still have 2 years on his contract. We still have 2 years on his contract. He's 30 years old, um, and he's a significant cap hit. We're talking, I think it was like $56 million on the cap next year. You still have to sign uh, Parsons, and you want to extend CD. So I mean, those two names right there, right? You're gonna have to let Tyron Smith go. Pollard is gone. I can't see them franchise tagging him another season. I just can't see it. So he's gone. You have Dowdle, but hey, you know what? He can walk away as well, or get rid of him. There's going to have to be some fundamental changes. Like I said, Smith will be gone. Martin, we've got to see what happens with him. I know that there's been word and talk about him hinting at retirement, especially with him being hurt this past couple of weeks. There's rumors out of uh, what they do with that line, what they do on the defensive line and defense. Diggs is coming back off a major surgery. Uh, so you're gonna have a defensive back room that's gonna be pretty crowded. So who do you keep? Who do you say, you know what, that's fine, you can let him go? Uh, there's just gonna be a lot of decisions coming up, and I'll tell you what, we'll be here. I'll be here. Cowboys cutting up for at least a couple more weeks. We're gonna be talking Mavs, though. That's what we're gonna do. Is at least they have a winning record. They seem to know what they're doing a little bit. Uh, but I don't even think I could watch football anymore. That's how bad it is, man. It just kind of took my soul. Um, Whoever changed to Patricia to take over for the Eagles DC towards the end of the season needs to be fired with him. I think that was Sirianno, and more than likely the GM, right? That made that change. So, because I know Sirianno talked a lot about that, but I don't know, man. They it's a dumpster fire, and I'm here for it. Um, but the division has to be better. I'm gonna tell you who I'd love to see in here, at least as an OC, and wouldn't mind him as a head coach. Eric Bieniemy. I would love to see Eric Bieniemy here. That's who I want. That's who I want. Patricia's awful. Yeah, Pat Patricia's awful. But hey, that's that's what they wanted. Um, that's what they got. But I would love to see Eric Bieniemy here. Um, I think he got a hose job in Washington. Uh, why don't wait? Okay, why don't you think he's not? That's not going to happen. I would to me. And I'm gonna tell you why I want him. He's creative. I believe he can get the most out of the guys here, right? I believe he has a great understanding of offensive schemes. Um, Not only that, these, from what I can tell, discipline, right? Discipline. Uh, Jerry will not make the hire. That's the thing. Jerry making the hire. That's one of those Will McClay, Stephen Jones. Listen, and Stephen Jones, for all intents and purposes, won't have that conversation either. But someone has to say to him, that is a person we need in house. We need him here. You need him here, right? You had some players speak up for Mike McCarthy, but I would love to see what he can do, what Eric Bieniemy can do here with a fair shot. I believe he has all the pieces here, with the exception of the running back. Go draft a running back. Um, I think you can hire him as a maybe not head coach, but I think you can hire him as an OC. Richard was real close as the DC. There was some other stuff I think going on there, and we all know that other stuff, right? But I do think that if he does hire him as an OC, at least as an OC, uh, I think you'll see great change here. I know. He's not going to bring in Bieniemy as a head coach OC. I see he put it in there again. I'm just telling you what I think that would be great. You see that, you see progress, you see change, you see that, hey, there's something new here. There's something has to be different. We keep getting the same types of people. The same people. These are the same people we're getting, right? Can't adjust, stuck in their ways, doing the same thing. Like Captain Clap, right? The Red Rider, he was the same. He didn't do anything, and that's why it was 8-8 every single season when he was a coach. 8-8 every single season. Um, you bring in McCarthy, yes, 3 seasons, 12 wins, awesome. Can't win a playoff game. And the one game you did, you went against a quarterback that, let's be real, was done. Over the hill, and the team was not what it is even today. The defense wasn't what it was. No. You get a playoff win on the road, great, awesome. And then the next week, though you don't get blown out, you definitely were outplayed. Outplayed and outcoached. Um, by a third string quarterback is what he was. Okay. So yeah, I'm over it. I'm over the McCarthy era. I'm over whatever this is. Let's do something different. That makes sense. Don't just do something different just to do something different. Do something different that makes sense. Bring in Eric Bieniemy or I don't want Pete Carroll. Honestly, I don't want Bill Belichick either. I don't. We're gonna have to bring in a DC anyway. I feel like Quinn is gone. DQ can be gone. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But you're gonna have to hire a great DC. I think there are plenty out there. The OCs, that's the ones you know, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Won't be Eric Bieniemy. I'm just telling you what I would do if I own the team. I don't have 13 billion right now, but if I did, and they're willing to sell, that's what I do. I don't think Jerry is going to keep McCarthy. Oh, you think he's going to keep McCarthy? Yeah, I think he is too. I think he is. I think he and Dak are tied at the hip. Um, I think they're tied at the hip. I don't think Dan Quinn stays. Whether he's whether he gets another job or he's fired, he's going. He's going after this season. So, um, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of torn because McCarthy needs to go, but who do you get to replace him? And then you have who's going to coach Dak? Like who would you want here in Dallas if it wasn't McCarthy? Well, you probably don't care, but if you did, the best fit for Dallas. And honestly, I'm thinking, I'm looking around, even in the college ranks. Uh, it's just McCarthy, man. It's really nobody else because the job has gotten to a point where the owner slash GM is such is so invasive. They just don't even want to coach here. I mean, it's hard enough being a fan. You just don't want to even coach here. Trying to be a fan of the Dallas Cowboys when, as I've stated before, there are two types of fans in NFL: those who root for and those who root against America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. It's tough, but there's always basketball season. So thank God for that. Hey, look, I'm J-Stogs, the Buff Nerd. It's been a joy and pleasure being here with you. Um, I'm putting out an APB out for my boy, for my dude, uh, Trey Collins. Hopefully he's doing well in the new year and all of that. Keep it here, keep it locked. We're gonna keep doing a couple of more Cowboys cutting up. Make sure you check us out Thursday from me and my boy Big Game. We're gonna do Big Game Sports Buzz, and yeah, it's it's gonna be a doozy. Yeah, number one offense in the league. I know, but it doesn't matter if you can't put points up in the first three quarters. Just saying. Oh man, appreciate you all. Appreciate all of you coming through, stopping by, hitting me up, hitting us up, BGSC Network. Hey, look, make sure again that you check us out 8:30 Thursday. You know the cannons will be fired up, so yeah, have to deal with that. But it's gonna be fun, good content, good times. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. We are going to be on any platform where you listen to podcasts. We'll be there. All right. Hey, stay strong, Cowboy Nation. For all the rest, yeah, it happened. Okay, it happened. So I'm sure I'll get more texts and more memes. Thanks. It's awesome. Peace.